In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on March 21st, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Orlando Magic versus Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards are set to take on the Orlando Magic at Capital One Arena. This will be another chance for Washington to try and break their losing streak against Orlando, but given how things have played out in recent matchups, that won't be an easy task. Orlando will be without Jalen Suggs as he remains sidelined, and they also have Cole Anthony listed as questionable for this game. On the other side, Washington will be missing Corey Kispert, Malcolm Brogdon, and Marcus Smart, all of whom have already been ruled out. The Magic have completely dominated this head-to-head series lately, winning each of the last 8 meetings between these teams. A big part of their success has been their defensive identity, which allows them to pressure opponents into mistakes, force turnovers, and limit second-chance opportunities by securing defensive rebounds at a high rate. Meanwhile, Washington has been struggling in key areas offensively, ranking among the bottom 2 in effective field goal percentage while also turning the ball over far too often. That's a dangerous combination against a defense like Orlando's, which thrives on disrupting rhythm and making opponents work for every shot. Expect Washington to have a tough time finding any kind of sustained offensive flow in this one. These teams have already faced off twice this season, and in both instances, the Magic handled the Wizards with ease on their home floor. With Washington missing key players, especially Marcus Smart, it's hard to envision a different outcome this time around. At this point, it's difficult to have much confidence in either of these teams, but Orlando at least has the best player on the court in Paolo Banchero, and that should be enough to carry them past this short-handed Wizards squad. As our first pick for this matchup, the Orlando Magic to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This game presents an interesting contrast in styles. The Wizards prefer to push the pace and currently rank among the top 5 teams in the league in terms of tempo, while the Magic take a much more methodical approach and operate at one of the slowest paces in the NBA. Orlando's defense has been outstanding, especially when it comes to creating turnovers and limiting offensive rebounds, which forces their opponents into inefficient possessions. However, the Magic haven't exactly been lighting it up offensively themselves, as they've fallen into the bottom 5 in most key shooting categories. Washington is also dealing with offensive inefficiencies, making this a game where points could be hard to come by. To make matters worse, neither of these teams has been particularly reliable from the free throw line, which could further contribute to a lower scoring game. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Philadelphia 76ers versus San Antonio Spurs. The Philadelphia 76ers, who currently hold a record of 23-46, are gearing up for a late-night showdown against the San Antonio Spurs, who stand at 29-39. The game is set to take place on March 21st, 2025, at the Frost Bank Center. Both teams have had their fair share of struggles throughout the season and now find themselves near the bottom of their respective conference standings. Neither squad has been able to gain much traction, making this an interesting matchup between 2 teams looking to finish the season on a positive note. The last time these 2 teams faced off was back on December 23rd in Philadelphia, where the 76ers managed to secure a 111-106 victory over the Spurs. That game was tightly contested, and both teams had their moments of control. Philadelphia came out on top in that meeting, and they'll be looking to repeat that performance as they head into enemy territory this time around. Injuries have played a significant role in both teams' struggles, and they remain a major factor in this upcoming game. The 76ers will once again be without several key players, including Kelly Oubre Jr., Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Andre Drummond. On the other side, the Spurs are also dealing with their own setbacks as they continue to be without Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and Charles Bassey. With so many impact players sidelined, depth and bench contributions will be crucial in determining the outcome of this game. Despite their overall record, the 76ers have been heating up at the right time. They've started to climb in the Eastern Conference standings, and a big reason for that has been their offensive firepower. Even with injuries, they've had enough talent on the floor to put up points efficiently. One of Philadelphia's biggest strengths this season has been taking care of the basketball, and that could play a huge role in this matchup. San Antonio has struggled all year when it comes to forcing turnovers, meaning the 76ers should be able to execute their offense without too much resistance. Meanwhile, the Spurs have been prone to turning the ball over themselves, which only adds fuel to the fire for Philadelphia's transition game. As our first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This game sets up as a battle of contrasting styles. The Spurs love to push the pace and play one of the fastest tempos in the league, while the 76ers typically operate at a much slower speed, ranking in the bottom half of the NBA in pace. However, Philadelphia has been playing at a noticeably faster pace during their current 4-game win streak, which suggests they may be comfortable embracing San Antonio's up-tempo approach in this contest. If they continue to speed things up, this could lead to an even more dynamic game offensively. One of Philadelphia's biggest defensive weaknesses this season has been defending the paint, and that's an area where the Spurs thrive. San Antonio has relied heavily on their ability to score inside, and they could exploit the 76ers' lack of interior defense. At the same time, Philadelphia's transition offense has been one of their most dangerous weapons, and they should benefit from facing a San Antonio squad that ranks near the bottom of the league in shooting defense. If the 76ers can get out and run, they should be able to put up points in bunches. Both teams have been involved in plenty of high-scoring games lately. The Spurs have hit the over in 4 of their last 5 matchups, while the 76ers have gone over the total in 7 of their last 10. San Antonio's fast-paced approach, combined with the defensive struggles of both teams, points to a game that could see plenty of scoring. Over their last 10 outings, the Spurs have averaged 118 points per game, and Philadelphia's offense has shown flashes of explosiveness despite their defensive inconsistencies. Adding to the case for a high-scoring affair, the Spurs currently rank first in offensive rating for the month of March and have scored at least 120 points in 5 of their last 7 games. On the other hand, the 76ers have allowed an average of 130 points per game over their last 5 contests. With both teams ranking near the bottom in defensive efficiency, all signs point to a shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston Rockets versus Miami Heat. It's a cross-conference showdown on the hardwood down in Florida as the Houston Rockets roll into Miami to take on the Heat this Friday night. Houston is coming off a solid road victory, having taken down the Orlando Magic 116-108 on Wednesday night. They not only secured the win but also covered the spread as 2.5-point favorites. On the other hand, Miami suffered a tough 116-113 home loss to the Detroit Pistons that same night, though they did manage to cover as 4.5-point underdogs. Looking at the all-time regular season history between these two squads, the Heat hold a 42-33 lead and have dominated recent matchups. They've beaten the Rockets 9 straight times, including a 104-100 road win back on December 29, 2024. Houston enters this game at full strength, giving them a major boost as they continue their impressive run. Meanwhile, Miami is dealing with key injuries. Nikola Jovic remains sidelined, and Andrew Wiggins is questionable with an ankle sprain. That's a tough spot for a team already struggling to find its footing. While the Rockets are red hot and playing some of their best basketball of the season, the Heat have hit a serious cold streak, dropping 9 consecutive games. There's a clear contrast in momentum between these two teams as they prepare to face off. Houston is riding high with 8 straight wins, which has propelled them to the top of the Southwest Division standings. In stark contrast, Miami's 9-game losing streak has seen them slip further down the Eastern Conference standings, barely holding onto a play-in tournament spot. At this point in the season, the Heat simply look lost. While they still have talented players in Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, they aren't playing with any real cohesion or urgency. Houston, on the other hand, has been firing on all cylinders. Their recent success has been fueled by a strong perimeter attack, and Jalen Green is in a prime position to take advantage of Herro's defensive lapses. The Heat are not a team to trust right now. With Wiggins uncertain to suit up and Miami's offense looking completely stagnant, there just isn't much reason to believe in the home team here. Meanwhile, the Rockets have all the momentum and could even have Amen Thompson back in the lineup, adding another weapon to their arsenal. Miami's body language suggests a team that has mentally checked out. It's hard to believe they're actively trying to win games when they keep squandering big leads night after night. If they truly were pushing for victories, their recent results would be even more concerning. Houston, on the other hand, has figured things out, winning 8 of their last 10 games and covering the spread in 7 of those contests. The Rockets have a legitimate shot at climbing as high as the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, and taking care of business in games like this is essential to making that happen. Miami has had Houston's number over the years, winning 9 straight matchups, but that streak comes to an end here. The Rockets haven't beaten the Heat since November 2019, and that changes on Friday night. There's no way I'm backing Miami in this one. As our first pick for this matchup, the Houston Rockets to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Houston's offense has been clicking lately, averaging 120 points per game over their last 10 contests. That's 7 points higher than their season average, and they've allowed just 112 points per game in that span. The Rockets rank 19th in pace, averaging 98.6 possessions per game, and they sit 13th in offensive efficiency. On the other side, Miami's offense has been completely anemic. Over their last 10 games, they've averaged just 102 points per game, which is 7 points below their season mark. They've allowed 110.6 points per game in that stretch and ranked near the bottom of the league in offensive pace and efficiency, sitting at 29th in tempo with just 96.2 possessions per game and 22nd in offensive efficiency. Miami plays at one of the slowest paces in the entire NBA, and that's not going to change in this matchup. In the last 10 meetings between these two teams, neither has averaged more than 112 points per game. Houston has been one of the better defensive teams in the league, ranking 4th in defensive rating, and they should have no trouble shutting down a struggling Miami squad. Even with their impressive record, Houston isn't an elite shooting team. They rank 25th in three-pointers made per game and 24th in overall shooting percentage. Miami's offense has been dreadful lately, and with 9 of their last 10 games going under the total, this one is shaping up to be another low-scoring affair. With both teams emphasizing defense and Miami struggling to generate offense, this game is unlikely to turn into a shootout. Expect a slower tempo and fewer points on the board. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Charlotte Hornets versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Charlotte Hornets, currently holding a 17-51 record and sitting 14th in the Eastern Conference, are set to play the second game of a back-to-back on Friday night. They'll be heading out on the road to face the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have been the best team in the Western Conference this season with a dominant 57-12 record. Charlotte is coming off a rough loss to the Atlanta Hawks, getting blown out 134-102 on Tuesday. Before they take on the Thunder, the Hornets will first have to battle the New York Knicks on Thursday night. With losses in 3 of their last 4 outings, Charlotte is teetering on the edge of mathematical elimination from postseason contention. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City continues to roll, cruising past the Philadelphia 76ers with a commanding 133-100 victory. The Thunder have won 4 games in a row and 11 of their last 12, putting them within striking distance of locking up the Western Conference's top seed with just a half game standing in their way. As of now, Charlotte does not have any injuries officially listed on their report, but they have a track record of unexpectedly sitting players at the last minute, particularly on the second night of a back-to-back set. On the other side, Oklahoma City will once again be without Ousmane Dieng and Luguentz Dort, while Cason Wallace is questionable for the game. Even with some players possibly missing for the Thunder, their depth is far superior to Charlotte's, especially given that the Hornets are likely to be missing 6 of their top 7 scorers, their best rebounder, and their main playmaker. Playing on no rest after taking on the Knicks the night before won't help Charlotte's situation either. Historically, March has not been kind to the Hornets, as they've only managed to cover the spread in 6 of their last 18 games played this month. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City has been a reliable bet, covering in 7 of its last 8 games overall and 5 of its last 6 games played in March. As mentioned before, the Thunder have been a defensive powerhouse, ranking 2nd in points allowed and leading the league in both field goal percentage and 3-point shooting defense. The first-place Thunder have been a juggernaut this season, consistently delivering on both the scoreboard and betting lines. With a remarkable 25-2 record against non-conference opponents and an outstanding 29-5 record at home, they've firmly established themselves as one of the league's top teams. Oklahoma City has also been a strong team against the spread, covering in each of their last 4 games and 9 of their last 11. When favored at home, they have a solid 21-11-2 record against the spread and an even more dominant 18-5-4 against the spread in non-conference matchups. On Friday, they'll face a struggling Hornets squad that's dealing with fatigue from playing the night before and has just 18 wins on the season. The Thunder have a prime opportunity to keep their hot streak alive. Historically, underdogs have covered 4 of the last 5 games between the Hornets and Thunder, so there's some logic to taking the points. That being said, it's hard to find confidence in a Charlotte team that has been completely unreliable from night to night. Oklahoma City boasts the best cover percentage in the league at 67.6% and holds an 11-7-1 against the spread record in their last 19 games when favored by double digits. The Thunder have also recently surpassed Cleveland for the best record in the NBA, and they will be motivated to keep that status intact. While a spread this large is not typically something to bet on blindly in the NBA, Oklahoma City has been covering at a higher rate than any other team in the league. Sometimes it's best to just ride the trends. Given their dominant performances and ability to dismantle weaker opponents, the betting decision is fairly clear. As our first pick for this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When looking at the point total, the under has hit in 8 of Charlotte's last 11 games and in 6 of Oklahoma City's last 7 contests. The Hornets rank near the bottom of the league offensively, sitting 28th in scoring and dead last in field goal percentage. The Thunder, on the other hand, have one of the stingiest defenses in the NBA, ranking 2nd in points allowed and 1st in opponent field goal percentage. While Oklahoma City does have an impressive offensive efficiency rating of 116.8, ranking 4th in the league, Charlotte is near the bottom, sitting at 29th with a rating of 104.3. Although the Thunder play at a solid pace, ranked 10th in the league with a 99.78 rating according to StatMuse, they have leaned toward the under recently, with 5 of their last 8 games falling short of the total due to injuries and strategic adjustments. Despite their ability to jump out to early leads, averaging over 30 points per quarter in the first 3 quarters, their home games have seen mixed results when it comes to the total, with 21 of 33 going over. However, the Hornets have consistently struggled to score, as evidenced by 19 of their 33 road games and 15 of their 25 non-conference matchups finishing under the total. Their previous meeting with Oklahoma City resulted in an under-hitting by 15 points, reinforcing the expectation that the Thunder will control the tempo and limit scoring. Given these trends, betting on the under appears to be the smartest play for this matchup. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.